You won't stop overeating until you understand this one thing that no one is talking about. I know because I used to be 15 kilos overweight. I would promise myself I'd be good and then end up overeating again. I thought I lacked willpower and I genuinely thought something was wrong with me. Yet it wasn't until I understood what I'm about to share that everything changed. I was finally able to take back control of my health, lose the weight, and feel confident and sexy in my body again. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what shifted for me and how you can use the same brain-based strategies to break free from overeating for good. So why is it that when we're already full, we find ourselves going to the pantry and diving into all of the snacks and eating until we feel sick? Have you ever noticed how you can be completely full but keep binge eating? This used to be me. I would binge eat every single day. I would track my food all day, have a really healthy dinner, do the dishes, and then I would head straight to the pantry and be looking for chocolate, cookies, lollies, whatever was in there. It was fair game. Nothing was off limits. Whatever felt comforting was what I was looking for. But the truth is I was never hungry. I would make sure that I had a really good big dinner because I'm a volume eater, and I would make sure that I was satisfied. What I've come to realize is I was seeking comfort through food. And what I've learned is most of the time when we're overeating, it has nothing to do with us being hungry, but everything to do with our ability to regulate our emotions. Often when we're overeating, we're actually using food to soothe or attempt to regulate our emotional state. Food becomes a quick way that we can numb stress, loneliness, boredom, or overwhelm. So what makes us reach for food when we are seeking comfort? Think about when we were babies and we would start crying or we'd be having a meltdown over something. Often what our mums and parents would do is they would give us food, they would give us milk or something in the food department to soothe us and to quieten us down. And even if you look at kids a lot of the time now, the first thing, if they're having a temper tantrum or anything, is one of the first reactions is to give them food. So from young ages, our brains have started to associate food with comfort and safety, which is what is one of the key things that our brain wants. So as adults, when we feel overwhelmed or triggered, we instantly look for food. Our brain goes back to what it learned. Food equals relief. So we seek comfort when we're faced with emotional triggers because it's our brain's way to try and comfort uncomfortable emotions. So why does eating feel safer than facing our emotions? The truth is, most of us were never taught how to regulate our emotions. If you look back to when we were in school, emotional regulation isn't part of the curriculum. So when emotion comes up, the brain looks for the fastest way to soothe itself. And if we've already made the correlation between food and comfort, we're naturally going to be pulled towards eating when we are facing discomfort in our emotions. If food has always been the solution, our brain will automatically crave it. The key here is to learn to notice the emotions underneath the cravings. Ask yourself, what am I trying to avoid right now? Often when we get urges to overeat or we're sitting and we're getting a little bit triggered and there's uncomfortable stuff coming up, we never really turn inwards and ask ourselves, what's going on here? And I think that's a really important thing to do because when you start doing that, you're able to ask yourself and reflect and work through those emotions instead of just grabbing some snacks and some food and then going about, your day and binge eating until you feel sick and then hating on yourself and doing a rinse repeat the next day because you still haven't learned how to regulate your emotions. When you learn healthy ways to regulate your emotions, the urge to overeat does slowly fade away. If you find yourself overeating when you're not hungry, it's not a lack of discipline. It's usually your brain trying to regulate emotions, the only way it knows how to. And you've got to be kind to yourself because it's not a character fault or a reflection on your self-worth or anything like that, because it's our brain's wiring. And the whole process to become a normal eater is understanding our brain and what it needs and learning how to give it the right support, which is an emotional safety net instead of an emotional chocolate net, if you will. Full disclosure, my guilt thing is chocolate. That's my whole thing. I don't know what yours is, but yeah. Once you learn how to understand your triggers and regulate those emotions differently than seeking food, everything around you starts to change. If this resonated with you, follow along because I'll be sharing a lot more tips and tricks on how to stop overeating and actually take control of your health and get into the body that you really deserve and that you really want. And also to stop punishing yourself and being kind and loving. You know, we only get one body, we've got to look after it. And if we're constantly bashing it with foods and thoughts and, you know, guilt and stuff that doesn't reflect love and care, we're not going to be operating at the best version of ourselves. And that's really what it's about in life. So if you got something out of this video, let me know, like and subscribe. If you've got some eating patterns and things that you're really struggling with, maybe check out some of my other videos that I'm going to link in below to help you overcome that too.